All right, you're welcome back from that short break. Joining me here in the studio this evening as Miracle, one man you know too well. Miracle, good evening and welcome to an exciting evening.
Yeah, good evening, Michael. It's once again always nice to be here to talk sports.
Nice to be here to talk sport, and this is what we are about to do right now. But we'll dive straight to the camp of the Super Eagles because all the anticipation will be over in less than 20 minutes time as the Super Eagles, yes, will take on the Taifa Stars of Tanzania in their opening fixture of the African Cup of Nations in less than 20 minutes as we speak right now. Miracle, in the morning we talked about the Super Eagles, but then we could not go deep to, of course, give all the indices and the pointers of where this game is going to swing this evening. First off, are you satisfied or fulfilled with the level of preparation from the side of the Super Eagles ahead of this evening clash against Tanzania?
Yeah, for me, Michael, I think so far I've not been much impressed with the level of preparation, because if you look at how we've prepared so far for this particular one, I think the players arrived late, just a week before the competition kickstarts per se, and we just had a one-off game, I think a friendly game against the Pharaohs of Egypt, which we actually lost, and a lot of new players were actually fielded in that particular one for them to have a playing opportunity and for them to know where they stand in the team. For me, I think our preparation per se was not really. I was not really impressed with our preparation, but let's not forget that this Super Eagles team have been involved in a lot of games lately. The World Cup qualifiers with the likes of Gabon, with the likes of the Democratic Republic of Congo, I think should be one that they would have used as, should I say, a preparation for this particular competition. So for me, I think in recent couple of months, I think they've had a couple of games for themselves, as well as the Egypt game. So for me, I think our level of preparation, I'm not really impressed, but I think it's something that we can manage, and hopefully Eric will be able to have a twitch and a tactical input with this team.
All right, let's get down to the basics. The first starting lineup, how are you expecting it to be shaped up?
For me, I think a lot of players so far have been omitted or omitting from this Super Eagles squad. The likes of Maduka Okoye, we've been talking about his absence for the last couple of weeks since we actually saw that list. The likes of Stanley Wabale, for me, he's not in top form. He's been struggling with a hand injury. He's not played in the last couple of games for his club side, and he was actually a doubt for this particular one. So for me, I think we'll be, hopefully, let's just hope that he'll be fit enough for him to start this particular one. The omission of Benjamin Frederick due to injury as well will be one that will actually, I think, will actually suffer from, because let's not forget that how Benjamin Frederick have had an input or a say in this team since his arrival. I think he's been very, very fantastic. One of those talents that we hope that in the future he can be able to carry the Super Eagles squad, and that defense will be on his shoulders. So far, he's been performing at the highest level of football. And let's not forget the omission of Olaina also due to injury. I think Olaina has proven to be one of our best fullbacks so far in the last couple of years, and he will be absent from this particular one. And for me, I think our defense will be one of the problems for us in this particular competition or tournament. I think with the absence or the retirement of Captain William Trusekong as well, I think our defense will suffer. Let's not forget that this particular defender we're talking about won the player of the tournament in the last AFCON. So for him to be missing on this particular one, I think it is very, very disappointing for me. But let's just hope that Eric will be able to make maybe a change from that three-man defense he normally plays, and maybe impute another formation on this team that they'll be able to grind results from. But for me, I think I'm not really impressed with our defense, but hopefully I just hope that they'll hold their own and make sure that they wouldn't be shipping those goals as they've done in the last couple of matches.
All right, let's talk about how the coach should approach this game. Should Eric Chell approach this game with a mindset of, let's just defend, and allow Tanzania to, of course, bring the attack, or should we start attacking from the get-go? How do you expect the coach to approach this game? Free-flowing football, or stay behind, try to hit, Tanzania on the counter?
Yeah, for me, the big question so far in the last couple of matches for Coach Eric Chell have been the problem of not having a style of play or not having a pattern. We saw how the Super Eagles played against the Democratic Republic of Congo. I think Mike, you watched that particular one. I think we were outplayed in the midfield. The Congolese players were dominant in possession. They had better chances than us. They created more chances. They dominated the game. And for me, it was very, very disappointing, knowing fully well that we had better players, but we sat back and allowed the Congolese to dominate the game. For me, I think if we go in with that same approach against the Tanzania team, I think we'll get punished for that particular one. I think the likes of Ademola Lookman, the likes of Samuel Chukwueze have not really shown much in the last couple of matches. They've been a bit shy in front of goal. I think Ako Adams have been one of the players that have been actually impressed me, as well as Chidera Ejuke. They both impressed me. Victor Osimhen, I don't want to really emphasize on his impact on the Super Eagles squad, because we know what he can do on his day. We know how he's been carrying the Super Eagles squad on his shoulders, how he's been dominant in front of goal. So for me, I think our midfield and our defense are the major problems for me, but our attack, if we can take our chances and not miss a lot of chances, or how we've been doing so far in the last couple of games, I think we have all it takes for us to grind out the result in this particular game.
The Super Eagles has what it takes to grind out the result in the next 15 minutes as the tackles against Tanzania, the Taifa Stars of Tanzania, in their first opening game in the African Cup of Nations. And of course, Eric Chell, the man who so many Nigerians has come to fall in love, despite the Super Eagles not qualifying for the World Cup. But then some have said there's a bit of changes in terms of the style of play and the result achieved thus far under Eric Chell. Miracle, let me put you on the spot. What should be the score? What is the scoreline? What are you anticipating for the scoreline of the game that starts in the next minute?
Yeah, for me, Mike, I think the Super Eagles of Nigeria have been finding it difficult to keep a clean sheet in recent games. So I envision a game, a high-scoring game in this particular one, whereby the both teams actually have at least a goal. But for me, I think I want to sit on the fence. I've not been impressed with the Super Eagles in the last couple of matches. With the absence of William Trusekong, we know how he's been able to govern that defense, and the absence of Benjamin Fredericks, I think I still remain confident that our defense will suffer. So I want to sit on the fence and say Super Eagles of Nigeria will play a 1-1 draw against Tanzania.
1-1 draw against Tanzania. But on paper, so many bookmakers probably tipping the Super Eagles for outright victory against Tanzania. But then, Miracle is saying the match is going to end in 1-1 draw against Tanzania. Which side of the divide are you? Do you think that the Super Eagles, after the failure of not qualifying for the World Cup, would not be able to win their first AFCON game against Tanzania? Maybe we'll just wait to see how this one pans out in the next few minutes. This match is going to light up our TV screen. Other group matches in Group C that is set to take place this evening, we'll see Tunisia, the Carthage Eagles, trading tackles against Uganda. Miracle, where do you see this one heading? Carthage Eagles of Tunisia against, Uganda.
For me, I think the Tunisians are a very, very, very team that they are very unpredictable. But in the last couple of games, I think they've been actually very, very good when it comes to goal scoring. They've been high scoring in their last games.
Yeah.
I think let's not forget that this Tunisia team actually knocked us out from the AFCON.
All right, you're welcome back from that short break. Still onto Atlantic Television Network, Sports Extraordinary, right here. And of course, we're serving you the full fixtures of the African Cup of Nations of matches that is set to take place today. And we told you that in Group C, the Super Eagles, yes, will host Tanzania. And of course, in Group C as well, Tunisia play host to Uganda. Of course, in Group D, Senegal play Botswana. And same Group D, we see DR Congo trade tackles against Benin Republic. These are the top fixtures for today's African Cup of Nations. Meanwhile, let also let you know that Nigeria's Afrobeat superstar David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, has shown his support for the Super Eagles and the 2025 African Cup of Nations, staking a jaw-dropping $25,000, which is approximately 36 million naira, on Nigeria's opening Group C match against Tanzania. Davido shared a snapshot of his sleep on his X account on Sunday with a caption, "Let's get the W, Nigeria." All right, the stake slip shows a bet of both teams to score with a potential payout of 40 million naira. This is not the first time Davido have placed a high-stake bet on the Super Eagles. Miracle, the last time that Davido staked, a bet on the Super Eagles, he was quite disappointed because they lost. I mean, they did not lose that game, but then it's more like losing the game because, he did not win that money. This time around, he has also staked another big amount of money. 36 million naira, if convert that amount to the naira equivalent to, win the sum of 140 million naira, just for each team to score in that particular game. Davido, he has so much confidence on the Super Eagles, but then maybe he's afraid of, going for a direct win for the Super Eagles. He rather went for, go, meaning that our opponents are going to score. Just like you pointed out that the defense line might seems to be the Achilles heel to, this evening. Do you see Davido pocketing this 140 million naira?
For me, Michael, I wouldn't want to be a bad luck to his ticket per se, but in respect of how the Super Eagles of Nigeria have played in the last couple of games, I think his ticket is on the right road or track. I think he might actually come out with a victory in this particular one. But I'll be hopeful that the Super Eagles will not be able to concede a goal. And for me, I think Davido wouldn't be wanting to hear that because I don't want Super Eagles to concede a goal. I want us to go outright in that particular game and win by 2 goals or 3 goals to nil in that particular one, coming out with the most important victory. But for me, if we still concede and actually come out with a victory, is a win-win for him and a win-win for me as well, because his ticket actually comes out in the right direction and is a win-win for him. I think it will be a win for the whole Nigeria and the Nigerian team as a whole. It will be a good start for us to start our AFCON road to the AFCON or the competition per se. So for me, I think Davido should just sit down, watch that game, football without violence. If his ticket actually plays, maybe he can do a little bit of giveaway for us.
All right, we'll see how this one pans out. But then David Adeleke, aka Davido, have staked the sum of $25,000 for the Super Eagles match, later this evening, a few hours as we speak right now. Away from that, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has appointed Mauritania's Dahan Beda as a center ref for the 2025 African Cup of Nations Group C encounter between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and Tanzania. In that very one, Beda is one of the experienced referees in Africa. The arbiter was in charge of video assistant referee, that is a VAR, during the AFCON 2025 opening game between the hosts Morocco and Comoros on Sunday night. Super Eagles will take on Tanzania in Group C opening fixtures at the Complex Sportive de Fies. as we speak a few minutes right now. So we just hope that the referee is able to do his job. No doubt it's a referee with a high stake of proven integrity, and this is why it is no surprise that he has been chosen to officiate this particular big encounter. Still talking the African Cup of Nations, former Nigerian coach Philippe Troussé has named 8 teams that can win the 2025 African Cup of Nations (AFCON), which kicks off, which kicked off rather on Sunday night. Speaking recently to a field goal, Troussé was quoted as saying, "I'm confident that the AFCON will be the strong competition, will be strong and competitive rather. Morocco lead as the #1 favorite alongside Ivory Coast, Senegal, Algeria, South Africa, Cameroon, Nigeria and Egypt. Meanwhile, it's yet to be seen if Troussé's prediction will come to pass because Ivory Coast are the current holder of this tournament." Yeah, former Super Eagles coach Philippe Troussé also, lending his voice on a possible team that he thinks is going to win this year's edition. Out of these 8 teams that he's mentioned, these are, top teams in Africa, and you think that he's right to pick these 8 teams?
Yeah, for me on the African ranking, I think these 8 teams hold their own. I think the top 5 teams in Africa, I think these 8 teams are part of them. In the current FIFA ranking as well, they are the top teams when it comes to the African teams as well. So for me, I think the list that he mentioned, the likes of Egypt, Ivory Coast, alongside Algeria, South Africa, and Cameroon, Nigeria, and Morocco, are all top teams in Africa. So for me, I think hopefully the winner of the AFCON will be coming up from this list that he just mentioned.
All right, keep our fingers crossed, hoping that Philippe Troussé is right in his assertion. Meanwhile, still talking about the CAF, the Confederation of African Football, has officially launched the African Nations League, a new annual competition designed to showcase the continent's top national teams and players. CAF announced that the league will provide a consistent world-class platform for senior national teams to compete, giving African players greater exposure and opportunities to display their talent on a continental stage. In a statement posted on its X handle on Monday, CAF said, and I quote, "CAF launches exciting new African Nations League and guarantees that CAF will host every year a world-class senior national team competition in which the best African players will participate," end of quote. The launch reflects CAF's commitment to elevating African football globally and creating sustainable opportunities for players, teams, and national associations. CAF had earlier stated that the African Cup of Nations will be staged every 4 years following an edition planned for 2028. A major change from its current biennial schedule, CAF President Patrice Motsepe announced on Saturday. So, Miracle, African Nations League, then the AFCON will be shifted to 4 years plan. First off, the African Nations League, is it, CAF trying to copy the Europeans, or you think that it's just a way of trying to balance the calendar?
Yeah, for me, I wouldn't say copy the Europeans because we know that in recent years, CAF have been coming up with new tournaments. But say we've seen the innovation or the inclusion of the new Women's Champions League. We've seen the CAF Super Cup. We have new CAF competitions right now. So for me, I think it's a good one to know that CAF are extending or promoting and grooming African football in as much as they are creating new tournaments. And for me, I think it will improve a lot. It will help improve a lot in African football. A lot of football development will be widely spread across African football, and it will help in football development, growth of infrastructure and the rest. Those teams that have poor infrastructure will be forced now to actually improve their infrastructure and the rest, because you can't be playing a home game in the Nations League, and you're going away to play because you don't have a quality or a CAF licensed stadium that you'll be able to play on your own turf. So for me, I think the bringing of a new tournament at the CAF Nations League is a good one. When it comes to the monetary aspect of it too, it will help football federations in their monetary aspect, in their finances. Let's not forget every competition that CAF actually comes up with will be approved by FIFA, and a certain amount of money as well will be given to various federations for them to help them play the so-called competition. So for me, I think it's a good one. For the AFCON as well, moving from the normal 2 years of play to a 4 years after 2028. For me, I think it's a good one as well, because there's been a lot of complaints about our AFCON, how it's being played, how it affects the European teams and the rest. Why is it not being played in the summer? Why is it played during the January period? So for me, I think this is a good one for me. It will help our calendar to merge with the European calendar. Everything will be consistent, and a lot of growth as well. And the competition will even get tougher, because now, if you can't win it this year, you have to wait till 4 years for you to be able to see again if you can compete and win. So for me, I think it's a very, very fantastic decision from CAF.
Fantastic decision coming from CAF and African League, and of course shifting the African Cup of Nations from 2 years span to 4 years, and this is going to take effect in 2028. New innovations from CAF President Patrice Motsepe, one man that many have given thumbs up because of his impressive administrative acumen since he came on board as the CAF President. All right, at this point, we'll take a quick break. When we are back, we'll take you through the rest of the stories. Don't forget that Manchester City head coach Joseph Salah Pep Guardiola has signed a note of warning to his players regarding overweighing after coming back from the 3 days Christmas break, admonishing them to be very wary and careful about the kind of food they're taking. Else, if you're overweight, you're going to be dropped on the bench for the Nottingham Forest game. And of course, the Super Eagles, also the world ranking is out. And of course, we tell you the positions of the Super Eagles. Plus, big other stories are coming, because Napoli, they did lift a cup yesterday against Bologna. Which of this cup? We'll let you know when we are back from this short break. Don't go anywhere. All right, you're welcome back from that short break. You are still onto Atlantic Television Network, and of course, it is Sport Extraordinary, where we are bringing you the latest revolving around the world of sports. And Miracle Nyekazi is here. My name is Emmanuel Michael. Together, we are taking you through some of the electrifying and exciting stories popping up from the world of sports. Let also let you know this evening that Nigeria has retained its position in the December 2025 FIFA Men's World Rankings, world holding steady at the 38th global position, according to the latest update released on Monday. With no competitive matches played since the previous rankings, Super Eagles maintained their November point tally of 1,502 points. The country is currently fifth among African nations behind Morocco, Senegal, Egypt, Algeria. In that particular order, Morocco remains Africa's highest ranked team, sitting 11th in the world, while Senegal occupies 19th position globally. Algeria and Egypt are ranked 34th and 35th, with Nigeria following at 38. Other African teams in the top 10 continentally include the likes of Tunisia, 41st in the world, Cote d'Ivoire, 42nd, and of course Mali in 53rd, DR Congo, 56th, and Cameroon, 57th globally. Globally, we talk about Spain as they continue to lead the rankings, having reclaimed the top spot from Argentina in September 2025. African Nations League, France complete the podium in third place, while England, Brazil, Portugal, and Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, and Croatia occupy the remaining top 10 position, all unchanged from the previous ranking. So, Miracle Super Eagles remaining static in the global ranking and fifth in Africa. Is this where we ought to be?
No, Michael, no. That's the big question, or the big answer is no. I think being static means that we've not had any progress so far. Yes, we've not lost any game under Coach Richel, but if you look at the current FIFA ranking, we've remained static. We've not moved from our current position. We've not dropped service. There's no progress in that particular team. So for me, Super Eagles have what it takes to even be number one when it comes to the ranking on our African ranking. We have what it takes because if you look at the quality of players that are in that Super Eagles squad, playing for top clubs in Europe, I think we should be doing more. We should be doing more. The likes of Egypt shouldn't be topping us on the African ranking. The likes of Senegal shouldn't be topping us. I think, yes, Morocco have a very, very great team, but we should be going head-to-head with the likes of Morocco. But the FIFA ranking actually is not just a voting ranking or something that they just put out. It's how consistent are you? How many games do you win? How informed are you? That's how this ranking comes about and comes in place. So for me, I think wherever we are in the ranking is actually well deserving.
Well deserving. Meanwhile, let's head straight to Europe, because we can tell you that a former Manchester United striker, Wayne Rooney, has hailed Declan Rice as the future England captain after watching the Arsenal midfielder deliver a commanding display in the English Premier League win at Everton over the weekend. The former England striker was in attendance as Mikel Arteta's side edged to a scrappy 1-0 win over Everton on Saturday evening, a result that lifted Arsenal back to the top of the table. Rice, 26, was central for the performance, in that game between Arsenal and Everton. All right, so former English striker Wayne Rooney has, of course, heaped praises on the quality of Declan Rice, and he believes he's their long-time successor to Harry Kane. Do you go with Wayne Rooney talking about Declan Rice and his leadership, quality? Wayne Rooney is seeing Declan Rice as the next replacement for Harry Kane as the England captain. Do you agree with him?
Yeah, I think I want to agree with him because we know how consistent Declan Rice has been since his days in West Ham. till now, playing for England as well as Arsenal Football Club. He's been very, very fantastic. He's been very, very dominant in midfield, consistent enough, carrying Arsenal, playing good football, making tackles. I think this player is one of those players that he doesn't get talked much about, but when it comes to doing his job on the field of play, he actually does it very, very well. Let's not forget that Declan Rice captained Western Football Club at a very, very youthful age. After the likes of McNoble left, he was actually the next West Ham captain. He captained them before making that move to Arsenal Football Club. So if he can captain West Ham Football Club, for me, I think he stands a chance of captaining the likes of England, whatever, and the likes of Harry Kane is no longer in the national team.
All right, Declan Rice, the next potential replacement as a three-lion captain, when Rooney has stated, because he possesses all the attributes and quality of being a leader on the pitch of play. We just wait to see that time if truly he is going to be chosen ahead of other big players such as Jude Bellingham and many other top players for the Three Lions. Away from that, Napoli won the Italian Super Cup on Monday as David Neves scored twice to secure the reigning Serie A champion a 2-0 win over Bologna in the final in Jeddah. Brazilian winger Neves called in a brilliant shot from the distance to give Napoli the lead before halftime against last season's Italian Cup winners. He struck again in the second half after intercepting a pass from Bologna goalkeeper Federico Varaglia as he tried to play out from the back. Neves finished with 3 goals in the Super Cup after also scoring in the 2-0 semi-final win over AC Milan last week. So for Napoli, they've started the season, yes, very, very well in the Italian Serie A, but they've also further cemented that impressive start to the season with the Italian Cup yesterday. Do you see them retaining the title? They won last time out, taking a look at the way they are going.
Yeah, for me, I think Coach Antonio Conte is a very, very, very fantastic manager. He's one of those underrated managers, but he actually does his job very well. He's a trophy-winning coach. He knows how to render results. He knows how to be dominant, especially in the Serie A. For me, I think it was a fantastic game from them yesterday against the team Bologna. I think they actually dominated that one, nearly scoring a brace. The likes of McTominay, Højlund, they were great in that particular game. I think it's good to know that you can win a trophy and still compete at the highest level of football. I think they are still in contention to retain their title in the Serie A. So for me, I think it's a fantastic one, fantastic display for Napoli yesterday. I think they'll be licking their lips, knowing fully well that they played Bologna instead of the likes of Inter Milan in the final of the Super Cup yesterday.
Big congratulations to the Naples, because it was a sweet victory last night as they lifted the Italian Super Cup against Bologna in a very impressive display out there. Big congratulations once again to Napoli. But still sticking with some Italian football stories, we can tell you that they plan to relocate the Italian league matches between AC Milan and Como to Perth, Australia in early February has been cancelled. Organizers announced on Monday following a criticism of the project. The match was due to be held in Perth on February 8th. Milan's San Siro Stadium is out of commission on that day because of it is hosting the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympic Games 2 days earlier. Serie A boss Ezio Simonelli blamed the request made by the Asian Football Confederation for leading the cancellation of the match, which was said to be first in the Italian Serie A played out in Italy. The proposed relocation involving a round trip of over 13,000 kilometers had come under attack from Milan's France internationals Adrian Rabiot and of course Mike Megan in that very one. This same similar situation occurred in the La Liga, where there also, some fans and some players kicked against taking away the La Liga games from, Spain. The Italian Serie A, they've also followed the suit. Although this time around, because of the Winter Olympic Games, you think that it is right for you to take an Italian Serie A game, traditionally from Italian to other part of the world, Australia to be precise?
For me, I think if you look at the circumstances of why that game was meaning to be hosted outside the shores of Italy, was due to the fact of the stadium was going to be used for the Winter Games. So, but for me, I think the nearest countries and the nearest European countries, the likes of France, England, and the rest of the should have been an option other than going to far away Asia, in Australia to actually play that particular one. For me, I think the fans did the right thing because they're the ones buying the tickets. They are the ones supporting the team, and they have every right to make or have a say in the decision making of the team or the decision making of the board of the league to move the particular game. So for me, I think it's a nice one from the fans.
Nice one from the Italian Serie A and their fans who have kicked against taking the game away from Italy to Australia, because you get to pay huge, and of course you talk about the traveling challenges as well. So that for that reason it has been called off, coupled with the fact that the Winter Olympic Games will be staged a few days before the date of that particular game. But at this point, we'll do well to bring you the complete and comprehensive results of the Super Eagles game when we make a return tomorrow morning, as that match is currently ongoing as we speak right now. I did a show this evening alongside Miracle Onyekezi. My name is Emmanuel Michael, the Prime Minister of the Airways, and we are saying have a good night ahead.